We're here with the team behind Occupy Texas. Guys, introduce yourselves.
My name is Jeff Barry. I'm the director and one of the producers of Occupy Texas.
And I'm Gene Gallerano. I'm the writer, the lead, and producer on it as well.
So, Gene, tell us kind of where this story came about from and what made you guys want to tell us the story.
It came from a couple places. I'm from Dallas. A few years back, I wanted to write a story. Just there's the old saying, you write what you know. You don't have to take it literally, but I understand, I think, a lot about brothers and sisters, and I wanted to write something and be as honest about it as I could. I have 3 little sisters. So I just wanted to write a brother-sister story, and I really wanted to write a film that took place in Texas. So I had those 2 things down. And I remember I had a conversation with my mom, and we were talking, and I said, you know, what would happen if my parents passed away? They're alive. I said, what would happen in that event? And she said, the oldest of my 3 little sisters would be the one that's in charge. And I thought, that's interesting. Hurts a little bit. Thought I was the oldest, the boy. I was like, you know, that'd be my role. And then I went back to New York and started, you know, just hitting the pavement, auditioning again, doing whatever meandering jobs I was doing, and somewhere it clicked in. I thought, oh, that's probably why. Like, what would my 3 little sisters look like moving to New York? Oh, wait, I would have to move home. Oh, these are all the problems that inherently are in that. And so that's an interesting thing to think about. And then I started thinking about what would happen if you amplified that and put someone who was even further removed from family, further removed from home, further removed from being a participating member of society, and then plopped them down into that situation. So kind of put all that stuff together. There was a time where I was working basically as an assistant to this man named Danny, who was in a wheelchair, and he was a big Occupy Wall Street protester. So every weekend I would go with him and just kind of observe and look at this movement. And I wasn't political at all. I didn't have a say in it. But I was thinking a lot about those guys and thinking, what would happen when that movement ended? Where would everyone go back to? So all these people came from all over the place. It was a really big deal in New York, and it was alive. And you'd have people shouting from cabs at them, "Get a job!" And they're like, "F off!" and all these things. It was a big deal in New York, and I was there. So I just kind of put all of those things. They were all things that I was curious about, and I wanted to write something about home mostly. So I threw those are the things that were really firing in my brain as a writer at that point.
I was kind of curious, before we get to Dallas, before we get home, basically, there's that great scene where Reed basically walks onto you, basically. Is that based on any particular moment or segment or something? Because I was fascinated by that scene. It was just like serendipitous, but also it helped just kick off everything.
Yeah, there was, when I first read the script, the story actually started in the middle of Zuccotti Park, in the middle of Occupy Wall Street, walking through the tents, you know, in all of its glory. And we were like, okay, we're not going to have the money to do that. We knew that budget-wise we wouldn't be able to recreate that. And so we said, but the core of it was the uncle finding Bo and saying, your parents died, you need to come home. And so we said, okay, how can we keep the essence of that, still tell that story, and tell it in a way that can be a little friendlier to our budget? And so we pushed it, and we said, what if it's after? Everyone's cleared out, but this guy just can't let it go, or he won't let it go, or he's not willing to go back to wherever he came from. And so we set it a little bit after, and you know, and there's still those people in New York who are just around. You know, you see these occupiers.
What might inform, what that choice to stay might inform about his character.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And so we worked from there, and then we said, okay, he's got to come and find him, and how do we try and tell the story of Reed kind of moving around? And you know, Gene had a relationship with Reed as a friend of Gene's and a friend of ours, and he came on and did a day for us. Actually, the day that we were shooting in New York, we were in Zuccotti Park downtown, and he was nominated for his first Tony Award. As we were there working, he got a call from his agent and was like, hey, you just got nominated for a Tony. It was a big day, a big deal for Reed. And he just brought it. You know, if you watch House of Cards, you know that Reed's a really good actor, and he just came in and crushed it. And it tells a great story, and it really informs what's about to happen for Bo in a way that doesn't feel super expositional, but feels dropped in. And the contrast between New York to coming to Dallas was really important.
And hopefully that scene also, you know, the first scene of your movie needs to set up the tone of it. And so you have this guy come in and you got this cowboy, which, by the way, coming down to Dallas, I had 2 cowboys on my plane. I was like, authentic, this work. No shame about that choice. Fantastic. No regrets on that. But you have this cowboy going into this, you know, basically homeless young man and tell him that his parents passed away and he's got to go home. Massive dramatic moment. And then at the end, he's like, let's get you a shower. You got gum in your hair. You know, it's supposed to kind of throw you into how this movie is how to look at this movie in a way, or what kind of frame of mind welcoming the audience into it, to be, it's okay to laugh. It's okay this is serious, but let's look at it in a different way.
Which is fascinating because you do reflect that throughout the film, and obviously there's great funny moments, but there are also serious brother-sister moments, like when she was becoming a woman, for instance. I didn't expect that in this film at all, and I was blown away. I was like, that's subtle, but really special moment, and obviously helped, I think, y'all connect as actors. What was it like throwing in those non-related to Occupy moments, but yet family-related that obviously connect to you guys?
I'll say that those moments that you're talking about, the unique way that they deal with this tragedy or deal with these things that flare up in their lives, the unique way that these characters deal with that is what drew me to the script. It's why I wanted to direct the script. The fact that, yes, we have this tragedy of these parents, but this isn't a movie where the first 20 minutes they just sit and wail and cry. Not to take away from anybody's experience of what that is, but it's not the Baker's family, it's not this family's experience. They're dealing with it in a different way. They're learning how to deal with it. And the idea of telling that story, taking that journey with them, is what drew me to it. And I think the film asks a lot of you as a viewer, because we really subtly touch on things like Arden's sort of coming of age as a woman in that moment. We don't hammer you with it. She's standing there with her jeans in her hand and a towel. Look at her. She doesn't say anything. You know, a little bit later you see some tampons drop in a shopping cart, but like, we're not really hitting you very hard with it. And there's a lot of sort of themes and in language that kind of come up throughout the film, and if you're paying attention, it's there. And we saw last night watching it, the audience was with it. You know, the humor was there, and those subtleties played really well. And it's a credit to what Gene wrote.
Well, and as you said, I mean, it's about a family. It's not about Occupy. It's not a political film. Maybe it's about the politics of a family, within a family, which we all have. I mean, we all understand we're born with it. You got it. It's there. And hopefully some of that is, you know, just trying to find something. We both come from a theater background, so we read a lot of plays. We've worked on a lot of plays. We love language. We wanted to write something that was contemporary, but heightened in a way. And someone brought it up to me about the language, and I thought I didn't know what I was in for. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to hang with this. And they said, oh, and then I bought the ticket. You got me at a certain point, and by the end, I loved that aspect of it, because it made it kind of original or crisp, and made you pay attention a little bit. And if you don't, some parts could leave you behind if you're not with them. And we tried to lay off. I mean, nothing worse than a movie. Da 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 da. Here's the funny moment. You know, we don't want to do that to an audience. We think we have smart audiences. We want to make a movie for smart people. You know, not smart people can come see the movie as well. but it's not what we were interested in making. And I think that's with the idea of these events that happen for them, how they choose to deal with it. And it goes back to something we talked about a long time ago. It's about a bunch of people trying to get to the moment together where they can grieve. About a bunch of people grieving in the absence of grief. In a way, the dog probably grieves the most carrying around the dad's slipper.
Yeah.
It's a subtle thing too. We never talk about it. The dog's always just got it. You know, you watch it and you're gonna put that together, or you're not, and that's okay. And you can still dig into the story, but those sort of subtleties, those wrinkles are in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I caught a lot of them.
Yeah.
I felt nice catching them. It was like, aha, I'm getting to know y'all way more than any other family?
Well, my hope making an independent film, and I think what we hope going to see independent film, is that we can ask that of a viewer. You know, we've got plenty of studios making things that they don't feel that they can trust viewers to be smart. And I think that's where something that independent film can do, that studios with a $250 million budget, with a $250 million marketing budget, can't afford to do.
Another side of it, being able to showcase a city that doesn't get shown very much in film and TV. Recently, we've kind of had an upsurge, but you guys had a lot of fun. You guys drove all over the place, it feels like, and you showed us new and old sides of Dallas. And that must have been really, nice to do, to capture that.
Man, I'll say one quick incriminating story of myself that Dallasites don't hate me. When I read the script, I'd never been to Dallas, never been to Texas. And
Where are you from, Jeff?
I'm from upstate New York, from Rochester. And we, I don't know how this Yankee ended up directing this Texas film. But when I first read it, and, we're in New York, we're making films out of New York up till this point. And I was like, oh, come on, man, all of our people here, we can shoot the interiors in New York. We don't have to travel anyone. We'll shoot exteriors in Newark, New Jersey, and we can double that for Dallas. And he just was like, all right, let's go down and see Dallas and everything. And I got down here, I was like, got to do it here. Got to do it here. I saw the city and what this skyline is, how clean it is, how new it is, how fresh it is. And I was like, the thought of taking this dude with this mohawk and this crazy beard and plopping him down on this, we couldn't have anywhere else. And the authenticity that it brought shooting here, a story that was written to be here, was incredible and makes its way to the screen.
Well, and with that, we went into the homes of like my best friend's mothers and fathers and my mom's law firm and my middle school and Valley View Mall and a million places that I had history with and grew up with. So couple that with, you put a mohawk and the Dallas clean skyline. But then, we're as Texans. And look, I hope this movie can go anywhere and play as a film that's just about a family. But it is specific to Dallas in a way, which is nice. But we all know the stereotypes and the cliches, and we also know what they aren't. And we know that there can be a guy like Reed who plays the uncle, who's wearing a cowboy crisp pants and a blazer and a cowboy hat and boots. But there can also be your guy in a Dallas Stars shirt with flip-flops with a big old thick accent and something down here, and that's real. Or there can be the girls who go to, a all-girls private school, and there can be every version of Texans that we know, and that's real. That's authentic. But you have to be careful you don't want to stereotype them, and we weren't ever going to do that because this is real.
I don't think I've ever been to a place I found to be more different from the stereotype it suffers from in Texas, as I've been spending some time here over the last 2 years of making the film.
Wow. Well, thank you.
Yeah, in the north,
we do get that label. We've always we shot JFK and we shot JR, and we're those cowboys. That's all we are.
Well, look, and that's awesome. Not the shooting JFK part, but we've got a lot of pride about being Texans. Yeah. And we go into a lot of places, and we're Texans. There's a part at the end where he's like, we're all of us in this room, we're individually Texan, and there's something to that as well. Texans go someplace. Where are you from? Texas. Mm-hmm. It's all over us. They have that in New York City a lot too. It's in your face. But it is. Because there's a lack of a lot of people shooting films saying it's in Dallas. I'm not even sure we say it's in Dallas at all. It's called Occupy Texas. I'm not sure anyone says Dallas, but it's unmistakably Dallas. And we don't pretend like it's anywhere else. And a lot of people, I think, make films and we'll shoot it here, but it takes place somewhere else. And why would we do that? It's authentically us.
Well, let's talk about being able to show it here in Dallas, and that must have been really special. What does it mean to show it here?
For us to, shoot here, we financed the film, majority of it out of Dallas. It's a Dallas-based Texas cast and crew. Sorry, I said that again. It's a Texas-based cast and crew. We financed it here. We shot it here. To be able to come world premiere at Dallas International Film Festival was a perfect coming home, and it was the perfect place for us to bring this film into the world. It couldn't have been anywhere else.
And it's the right place to start the journey for it. I mean, this is just the beginning of it. And we'll probably be back at a certain point. So that's right. It means a lot to me in terms of having so many people there that were a part of this. I mean, it's a massive thing. I was a wreck at the
Yeah.
screening last night, just
Lot of
trying
emotion.
trying to contain all of the different emotions that come with it, and it means a lot. A lot of people. There were no one put anything on us. They let us into their homes. I mean, I remember telling one of my friend's mothers who gave us the house at the primary location. Her name's Shannon Kincaid, and I was telling her Shannon, and she said yes immediately. Like I sent a text to my buddy, hey, would your mom entertain this idea? He sent, yeah, of course, back. And I said, okay, let me talk to her. I mean, I was trying to talk her out of it. I was trying to say, like, listen, it's a movie set. All of these things are going to happen. It's crazy. And she would not let me talk her out of it. She just kept going, yes, yes. And everyone was like that all the way through. And things got crazy, but they were unwavering in their support and allowing that. Like my middle school, I called them up. There is a all-girls Catholic school here in town that told me no immediately, that all three of my little sisters went to. But I went to a school. The other option that I had was my middle school, and I called up my old art teacher, Mr. D, and I said, hey, what do you think about this? And then he set it up. And all of my old teachers were our chaperones for the day, and they let us anywhere we needed. They facilitated. One of the woman that was really helping us, she was like, this is a great room. You can use whatever you want. You can use this room, but I think you're gonna have a sound problem. I mean, she was hit. They were aware
She
of it.
had
I was
the
like,
script on her iPad with a breakdown of where each thing needed to be and where she thought would be a good space. I mean, she was like a location coordinator, but she just had a passion about it.
yeah, everyone was like that. They're fantastic. They're watching the movie right now.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's great, and they want me to come do a screening for them. There's so many people that did that for us, and that helped the whole process. It became a happening. A friend of mine that's in California wrote something like, what a novel idea, make and cast and get a movie going in one place and actually shoot there and use all of the local stuff. What a novel idea. And I thought, well, of course, that informed everything. I mean, why wouldn't anyone do that at this point? I mean, if we do another movie, wherever we're going, we'll probably try and do the same model because it makes sense to a certain extent. But you don't replace all of that.
But that happens here because there is such a strong base of crew and talent here in the Dallas area, in Texas.
And people are proud here. They want that stuff. And I hope it's good enough for them. I mean, that's what I was most nervous about. It's just this, you guys let us do this. Can it hold up to what your expectations, in which none of them put any expectations on it. And that's the part that's really emotional for me. They didn't have any. They came because they loved and believed in us. And this people that we never met before, and now we're like a big family in a lot of ways.
Well, guys, from Dallas, hopefully beyond. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much.
It's
Appreciate
been a
it.
pleasure. Thank you.